an important ingredient in people's everyday lives. Water is used for a multitude of things, such as agricultural purposes. It is important to keep our water clean so that our environment is safe and healthy and that our people can thrive without being sick. Water that is considered healthy usually has a pH of around 7 and nitrates and phosphates of 10 ppm. The average person uses around 101 gallons of water per day. Let's go test our Creekside students and see how much they know about their average water use. State your name, please.
Giancarlo Horse.
Alright, if you were to assume the amount of water that you use each day, how much would you estimate?
I would estimate around 130 gallons.
State your name, please.
Christina Slevin.
Alright, if you were to assume the amount of water that you use on a daily basis, how much would you estimate?
About 200 gallons.
State your name, please.
Julia Slevin.
Alright, if you were to assume the amount of water that you use on a daily basis, how much would you estimate?
I would say maybe 25 gallons.
State your name, please.
Ben Tarbox.
Okay, if you were to assume the amount of water that you use on a daily basis, how much would you estimate?
37 gallons.
State your name, please.
Jonathan Smith.
Okay, if you were to assume the amount of water that you use on a daily basis, how much would you estimate?
Probably like 25.
You don't know that you use around 101 gallons of water per day?
I did not know that.
What do you think that you use the most water on in your everyday life?
Probably showering. For
Shower?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you think that you use the most water on in your everyday life?
Shower.
Shower. What do you think that you use the most water on in your everyday life?
Probably washing the dishes.
As you know, the average amount of water a human uses per day is around 101 gallons. Many people in our interviews thought that it was a lot less than this. Let's go see what humans typically use for water. One way people use water is by washing their hands.
Another use for water is consumption.
Water is also used for cleaning and medical uses.
Another common use of water is showering. Having water on campus is really important, especially if we were to have an emergency like a fire.
Water is in such high demand that we provide it on campus through vending machines.
Another use for water is washing the dishes. Water is used in many ways. These ways include agriculture, which consists of irrigation systems and sprinklers. We also use them for industry, hydroelectric power plants, which takes the energy from water movement and creates it into energy. We also use it for fish and wildlife, recreation, and domestic uses such as cooking, bathing, and cleaning.
We decided to test various water fountains across the school. These locations include the locker rooms, hallways, and the cafeteria. We also tested 2 of the ponds at our school. We tested the turbidity, pH, nitrate, and phosphate levels in all of our water tests. Testing the quality of water helps us determine if the water is safe to be used. Without this information, inadequate water conditions could make many people sick. In these images, you can see exactly where we performed our water tests on the water fountains. This includes 2 different hallways in our school, the band room, the cafeteria, and outside of our locker rooms.
Our water needs to be protected from many sources of pollution that may threaten our water safety. These include point source pollution, which is when there is a direct contaminant into our system, non-point solution, which is the opposite when there is not a direct source for contamination, urban pollution, which includes thermal pollution and radioactive materials, and then agricultural pollution, which includes pesticides, fertilizers, and many other harmful chemicals. To combat the sources of pollution, research needs to be conducted. A cheap way for scientists to get an idea of what's in the water is the use of macroinvertebrates. These organisms' presence can help determine what contaminants are in the water.
This is the Water Smart Quality Test. We use this to get more in-depth details on our water quality. The best way to do your part in taking care of our water is by practicing best management practices. These BMPs include using chemicals wisely, preventing erosion, and properly disposing of wastes.
If you wanted to continue to do your part in protecting our water quality, there are many things you can do. In your free time, you could look up BMPs for water management. The EPA provides many great examples of what you can do just at home. And even just educating yourself can make a big difference.